Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Belinda and I go by the name of Belinda Chosen. Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today, guys, let's get up close. Yeah, let's get up close and personal, okay? So today, I want to talk about things that we say, and one of those things are, what I want to focus on is, God told me he was my husband. So then my question is today is, did God really tell you that he's your husband? Did God really tell you he's your husband? If so, how do you know? So I hear this a lot, and I watch a lot of video here on YouTube of like testimonies of, a lot of females, a lot of women saying, God told me he was my husband. And girl, I have said that before myself. I have literally said the words, God told me that he's my husband. I want to call it a mistake because for some people, it's very accurate. But in my situation, personally, I have made that mistake twice. And I said, God told me it was my husband. Who don't hear must feel, okay? So like, my thing is though, like, if God told you he was your husband, did God tell him that you were his wife? And this is something I hear a lot. So let me expose myself just for a little bit. Let's get really personal here. And I'll give you why that question why that question came up for me and why I asked that question. Did God really tell you? Like when someone tells me God told me he's my husband, my first thing is, did he really tell you he's your husband? Are you sure God told you? So basically a few years ago, I remember I saw this guy. Oh my gosh. First of all, the first time I saw him, it wasn't a big deal. I saw him like in a dark room. There wasn't that much lighting in the room. And then I went outside. For some reason, it was beaming hot that day. The sun was shining. The sun was shining, and I just looked, and I so happened to see him standing under the sun. It was just bright, and it just, I don't know, I just like, whoa, is this a dream or something? Why is the sun shining on his face like this? Why is he looking up? I'm not the kind of person to like really have like a type, but I know when someone's good looking, at least to me, okay? So I can confess to you now that it was based on what he looked like. That's what really got me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, he has all the features that I like. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So so from then on, I had this crush on him, right? And I started having like dreams about him. So a little bit of like a backstory. For me personally, I believe that God speaks to me through dreams, and like I'm a dreamer. I have a lot of dreams. And you have to understand that if you believe that God speaks to you through dreams, you have to also believe that the enemy, the devil, will come and try to speak to you through dreams too. So that's why like having discernment is very important. Asking God for interpretation of dreams and whatever is very important, and really praying about something, like praying about dreams, is very important. I have put words in God's mouth before when I'm like, God said this, and it wasn't. That now I'm very careful of like, if I have a dream or something, I'm very careful. I'm like, Lord, is this dream really from you? And if it is, what does this mean? So I have learned my lesson. Who don't hear must feel, okay? So I remember like in that period of time, I was having dreams about the guy, and in the dreams, basically, like we'll be holding hands, like he'll tell me like, he likes me and stuff like that. And I took that and I ran with it. I'm like, this is my husband. God told me that this is my husband. This is the one for me. Did God really say that? Did he really say that? So I tried to put that into my own hands, and I started to like make myself kind of like sing, and for him to notice me and stuff like that. Before you know it, the man had a girlfriend, and before you know it, the man was married. He was married. I'm like, oh, what? Lord, that was supposed to be my husband. That was my husband. Why is my husband married to someone else? What is this? And I was so like, I tripped out. I'm like, and I started to think, I'm like, all those dreams, it was so convincing. I believed that those dreams were from God, and it was not. So what happened, I think what happened was, it was my own personal desires that kind of like manifested into my dreams, my subconscious thoughts manifesting and gave me those dreams, and I ran with it instead of really honestly waiting on God and seeking Him. And I try to put matters into my own hands by making myself noticed. Listen, don't do that, okay? Like, I've learned my lesson where, like, when people are like, he's my husband, I'm like, honestly, to save yourself from hurt, really pray about it. Did God really tell you that's your husband? Did God really tell you that's it? And also led me to this question where, like, you know how some people believe like there's one person for us, our soulmate and stuff like that. I personally don't believe in soulmates. I believe that there's different people you can be compatible with. And I don't think I'm compatible with just one person. There's different people who I'm compatible with that could be a potential husband. I don't believe that there's that one person for me. Because I feel like when I have that kind of perspective, thinking like there's one person for me, and then I mix it up with like God said that person is for me, that is very damaging. That could be very like bad for my like mental health, because I'm thinking like there's one person for me and this is the person that God has for me, and then all of a sudden I'm married to somebody else. That can like distort my relationship with Christ, and that is very dangerous. And I don't think there's one person specifically for me. I believe there's many people I could be compatible with. It's also just kind of like presenting them to God and saying, okay, Lord God, I'm feeling this person. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I don't know. You see what I don't see. You're all-knowing God. What do you think? Are we compatible? Like, you know, our values, our morals, okay, it could align. It aligns. Is this person good for me? Not everybody that you're compatible with is meant to be the one for you. And I had to learn that the hard way. Because sometimes what happens is that you end up picking someone and you say that was the person that God has for you. And then later on down the years, you realize that this guy was a wolf in sheep clothing. You realize that this guy is a demon in disguise. You realize that this guy's an abuser, a liar, and a cheat. And then you start to blame God. But God, you said this was the one for me. You said this was my soulmate. Did God really tell you that? Sometimes these things birth from like our own desires, just like the guy I just told you about. It's not because God told me that was my husband. It was my desires of me being so attracted to him. I became infatuated, and in my mind, whether I admitted it to myself or not, I was going to make him the one, because that's who my eyes saw and that's who I wanted. And I started to like put words in God's mouth. And there's different testimonies where, in the case where like God told them that was their husband or their wife, and they're not being married. So you have to understand, like, if God told you that that's your husband, God has to also show it to that person, reveal it to that person that you are his wife, because God is not no author of confusion. So imagine like you going to someone like, God told me you're my husband. That's scary. That they will run for me. Like, I don't think I could ever do that. If somebody was to message me today and be like, God told me you're my wife, I'm blocking you straight up. I'm blocking them, okay? And I'm running as fast as I can, because God didn't tell me that you're my husband. And if that is the case and God did reveal it to you, keep it quiet, pray about it, and mind your business. Don't focus on it. Give it back to God, leave it in God's hands. Do what you've been called to do. And if that person is supposed to be in your life, God will lead them to your life, and God will show them to you, right? And that's what I found out. That's what I've learned. Like, yeah. Okay. So I had to learn the hard way. And for me, when that time came where I was like, God, this is my husband. You're saying this is my husband. One mistake that I made was I told one too many people. I was telling everybody, God said this guy's my husband. God said this guy's my husband. God said this guy's my husband. And when it didn't happen that way, not everyone that I've told are not asking, oh, where's that? What happened to that guy that God showed you was your husband? And it's embarrassing, because now I have to tell them like he's married, and that looks stupid. So it's very important to keep certain things to ourselves. If in any future case where I believe that in my heart that this person could be my potential husband, I'm keeping silent and I'm shutting up and I'm keeping it to myself, and I'm not gonna reveal it too soon. I'm not gonna tell it until like I have a testimony to tell. Because then when it doesn't happen and you realize and you prayed about it and it's not God, then you look stupid. And that's what I basically looked like. I looked dumb. When people were asking me, oh, that guy said, was he? I said, where is he? I look so stupid. And I had to answer like, is, you know, it just made me look stupid. So I really like learned like, keep it to yourself. If God told you he's the one, pray about it, fast about it, and ask God to reveal it to him as well. Not just you, but to reveal it to him that in time, you know, it brings past. But yeah, that's my story, and that's what brought me to say that God really, did he really tell you that he's the one? Did he really tell you? Did he really? Did he really, really, really tell you? Or is that your flesh telling you? Or is that just you being infatuated and in lust? Did God really tell you? Did he really tell you? Did he really tell you? But yeah. Oh yeah. So that's it for today. Let me know. Have you experienced something similar? Like, what do you think about the whole one person for you, that soulmate, that person, that one person that God has for you? Or like, how do you feel like? How do you feel about you? People saying God told me that's my husband when God has not revealed it to the other person. Like, how do you feel about that? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's the video for today. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys back in my next video. Bye.